right, Joellen.
Yeah.
Good to see you. You know, this is
Yeah.
my favorite thing to do, right?
Yeah, well, look at how beautiful the pansies have grown to be, despite the cold we had,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
really
yeah.
knocked out a lot of pansies all over the city. And we did have some snapdragons planted, but look, only one came back. It did not like the cold at all. But it's time. It's time to change them out to the summer color.
All right.
So as beautiful as they are, it's time for them to go. And it looks like the daffodils also bloomed out very quickly. So we'll leave those in the ground.
Okay, so the daffodils stay.
Daffodils stay.
Okay.
So they can come back next year. It looks to me, so I'm looking here, and it looks to me like we need to fill in some spots that have gotten bare. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 or 5 more bulbs that we need to plant to make a couple of 2 rows like it was. So we'll remember that for this fall.
Right.
And it looks like there's plenty of mulch in the ground, so there's some leaves, and we'll just get that up when we're pulling everything out.
Okay, let me ask you about the daffodils. I remember some time ago, we actually braided those. Are we going to do that again this time, or do we have to,
I
or
would
is it
like
necessary?
I would like to just take them and kind of put them in knots, just to get them out of the way.
Okay.
I don't want to get rid of them because they're creating nutrients for the blooms for next year.
Okay.
But
So
we do
just
need
tie
them
'em
out
up,
of the
braid
way.
'em
We'll
up.
just tie them out of the way, and they'll be fine.
Okay. Sounds good. All right.
And we'll put this, what we pick up, we'll put it in the compost pile.
We'll put it in the compost pile. This is always the hard part for me, though.
I know.
You know, just kind of digging them out, you know. All right.
It has to be done.
It has to be done. All right. Hey, Joellen, look what I found here.
Oh, wow. It's a snail.
Nice little shell, huh?
There's snails out here, as well as worms and everything else that's good. Well, we haven't seen any damage from them, so it's
okay.
There's not too many of them to worry about.
Pretty cool. Never know what you might find, right?
Never know.
One out. Right.
All right. Now let's kind of tie these up just a little bit and get them closer together. Like I'll take this group like this.
Okay, see if I can follow that.
And I'll just make a knot here.
Like that.
So it will not take up so much room.
Okay.
We can plant around it then.
All right.
Yeah, we're tying them because the daffodils aren't done. When they're done, they're brown. They are trying to gather enough energy for the bulbs to bloom next year. And tying them up like this, the sun still gets to these. It still translocates down to the bulbs, so this is not hurting them at all. And it just gets them out of the way so we can plant the next season's colors. All right, we have 3 different plants. Now, we have planted some of these before.
Okay. I remember.
We've had Pentas in here before. We have had Coleus in here before, and
Coleus.
we've had Vinca in here before.
I remember.
I don't know if we've had these 3 combinations together in here before, but we will see how this combination does.
Okay.
The reason why we change plants that we plant in the bed, you don't want to plant the same flowers every year, just like you don't want to put the tomatoes or the corn or vegetables in the garden in the same place, because they develop disease problems that are, then you will never be able to plant there.
Right. So a little rotation.
Little
right?
rotation.
Yeah.
Vinca and petunias are probably the worst, but everything should not be. You shouldn't plant the same, just because you change the color, if it's the same Pentas or the same Vinca, you need to change the entire plant. And give yourself at least a 3-year, if not a 4-year cycle before you plant the same plant back in there again.
Gotcha.
Just like you would your vegetable garden.
Gotcha.
Now we've got some Coleus we'll plant first, because these will get bigger than the rest. And these happen to be a Main Street variety.
Main Street.
And this one is called Rodeo Drive.
Rodeo Drive, huh?
Yes, and these will get larger. So we will plant them in the center of the bed.
And again, can you tell us how you do your spacing?
Well, I know the Coleus will get large.
Okay.
We're talking about probably at least 12 inches. So if you think about it, 12 inches, you want at least 12 inches or more on center.
Got it.
Because these will get big.
Okay.
And you don't want them to get too crowded.
Let me ask you about this though. Is it okay if the plants touch?
Oh no, I want all of these to grow in together. Because what it does is then it shades the ground.
Right.
So then weeds can't germinate underneath them.
That's right.
So that's the idea.
All right, so they can touch, it's fine.
They can touch, it's fine. But we don't want them to crowd too much.
Right.
We want them to be healthy.
Gotcha.
All right, now before we plant these, we do need to put some slow release fertilizer down so they'll be fed for a few weeks or months out of the year.
All right.
And we'll just use this. And it doesn't need a whole lot. We're just trying to get these established. So we just sprinkle a little bit around. As my mother would say, you kind of feed the chickens with it.
Feed the chickens with it?
Yeah.
I like that.
You don't want to over fertilize it. You just want enough so that they can get some nutrients while they're establishing.
Okay.
And that should be plenty.
All right.
Now we can start planting these. The first thing we're going to do is get them out of the container. And to do that, you kind of hold the top of the plant and you squeeze the sides of the container and gently guide the plant out. Just like that.
Okay.
And as you can see, there's not these roots are pretty good. They're not root bound or anything. They're going to grow out. Every root likes to grow away from the center of the plant. And when it's in a container, they tend to start circling and take the shape of the container, and you want to break that. Once you break that, you might break some roots, but the other roots will start going away from the plant again, and it will stop the circling, which will girdle them.
Got it.
So what we'll do is since there's plenty of mulch in here, we'll just move the mulch out of the way. And these plants are a little bit big. It might take a couple of scoops, but our soil is really nice and loose in here. And we'll plant it just at the soil surface.
Okay,
you see, you notice the soil I'm not burying this top of the plant. This is where the crown is. We don't want to bury the crown. And then we put soil, and then we move the mulch back over it, and it's planted.
Voila. Okay.
And we'll do that to every plant. Well, now that we got the Coleus in, we're going to put in these nice red Pentas. And we'll have to get these out of the ground, out of the container. Again, you're squeezing the sides, and you're gently putting pressure on it and pulling the plant out. And as you can see, this one has a lot more root bound than the others. And we don't want it to keep doing this. We need for these roots to start going away from the plant to anchor it, like it does in nature. So if we don't move these roots out of the way and get them to start going away from the center of the plant, they will keep going in that same pattern. Now, you're going to say, well, you just took out some of your roots. It's fine. There's plenty in here, and what will happen is these roots will start going away from the plant, and it'll get established, and it'll be just fine in the ground.
Just fine.
And again, when we're planting these, I'll plant one, then we'll set the rest out.
Okay.
You're going to dig down and set it down. Don't bury the crown of the plant. See, didn't put dirt up over the top of it, and we'll put mulch back around it. And that's how we will keep the crowns of all of the plants from being drowned by the soil.
Got it. So why are you setting them out before they get planted?
Oh, so we know that they're evenly spaced in the bed, so the color will look nice from the street or from the sidewalk. Pentas will get 10 to 12 inches round. They'll be big and beautiful, and they will fill in this area with the Coleus. And I really don't think we need any more, so we have a couple extra we can put in a container somewhere else.
All right, how about that? All right, we get to it, right?
And remember to separate the roots.
Got it.
Because these are little root bound.
You gotta tickle the roots, right?
Yep.
Or tease the roots, as they say. There you go.
Well,
Pentas are in the ground.
now we got Coleus and we've got Pentas, and we're gonna fill in with the Vinca.
All right.
And I know these are we've had all different size pots. The way that you get each individual plant out of the container does not change, no matter what size the container. I don't care if it's a 3-gallon pot or a 1-gallon pot or a quart. You have 4 plants in this little container. The process is the same. I kind of hold on to all 4 of them and I squeeze them. And sometimes they just fall out, and there you have that. So that's how you get them out. You don't want to pull them because you'll pull the roots and the plant apart. And some of these are rooted well, some of them need a couple of pinches, but we'll set them all out and then we'll plant them.
And again, we're just filling in the gap with those,
We're just filling in spaces with these.
Yeah, my mom loves Vinca. She'd be happy to see this.
They're pretty pink.
Yeah.
Now these are small.
Right.
And you shouldn't have to dig a whole lot. In fact, if you pick one up and just move the mulch out of the way, you should be able to dig down once and pull the soil aside and set your plant down in here. Don't bury it, and then pull the mulch back over it.
Okay.
If you cannot do that and you have to dig, your soil needs amending. So it needs to be looser. It's too clay. That's probably why your flowers aren't doing as well. Do a little amendment to it.
And what would you amend with?
Organic matter of some type.
Organic matter, okay.
Yes, and you don't have to have a tiller. Because we didn't have a tiller for this bed.
That's right.
All we did was take a shovel and turn it over.
Right.
And that's all we did.
That's a good point.
And we probably will, this fall, we'll probably do that again because we haven't turned it over in a little while, so it's time to do that again.
All right. Like that one.
Well, there we go. All 3 planted, the bed's ready for the summer.
I can't wait to see what it's going to look like. We had such a beautiful day to plant.
Oh, we did.
How about that?
It is so nice today.
Yeah, so thank you, Joellen. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
All right.
Good, it was fun.
Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. To find out more information on this topic, just click on the familyplotgarden.com link in the description.